How stoked are you?
1 to like 10, probably like a 12.
Yeah.
New season, it's gonna be great.
It is great to be back here on the desk with you, but more importantly, in this new studio to kick off such a great season.
That's going to be it. Santor not even needed. That's the power. Chance to get away through the entire team. That's going to put the nail in the coffin.
I got a Thresh t-shirt, a Ramis Poro, and the world jacket.
Pretty special event taking place right here on the League of Legends stage.
Here comes the fight, but CLG is going to win a 4v5. That's how far CLG is ahead. You don't even need double lift.
Welcome back to our continuing coverage from Week 1 of the North American League Championship Series Spring Split. Here's Team Impulse making their way down the hall, looking to redeem themselves after a tough loss yesterday. And then, of course, Dignitas, their opponents, after a great start against Coast, looking to start the week with a 2-0. And we've got a fired up crowd, of course, here in Los Angeles, looking for 5 more matches. Hello, everyone. I am James Patterson, and anchoring the analyst desk with me for the first half of our day are Joshua Jat-Leesman, Aiden Zyrene Moon, and David Freak Turley. How you guys doing today?
Pretty awesome. It's great to be here. It's a whole bunch of fun. I'm glad we actually get to use the desk a whole lot more on the LCS.
Looking forward to some more games today. And guys, we will take a look at some LCS big plays in just a moment. But first, I want to get your reactions on the types of games that we saw day 1.
Yeah, I really just liked the variety we saw in strategy from these teams. We saw TSM pull out a victory despite being down 3 dragons and didn't necessarily matter for them, whereas we saw Team Liquid really control Dragon and with that Deathball comp and use it for their entire victory pretty much. So I think I'm expecting a lot more of that. As long as it's executed properly, a lot of different strategies can work.
Yeah, that was a big highlight for me too, and I think a lot of that is the new map and the new champions that we're seeing, as well as coaches being in champion select. So you're seeing teams come in with different win conditions, being like, are we prioritizing turret pushing, Baron, Dragon, team fighting, whatever it is, we're seeing a lot of it.
Yeah, I have to really completely agree with you on the coach's point. Peter Zhang got a lot of props from Dominate, the Team Liquid's coach over there. He did awesome, and it was interesting to see that he's like, look, here's a chance, and then in the trading phase, like, here's how you're going to play the map, here's how you want to play the game. It's something I hadn't really thought about, but of course you should do that as the coach. The other one being, you were talking about Dragons a bit, Jat. The one thing I think we do see crystallize already is when you see an early game team composition, I think the days of take the first 2 Dragons, control the game are gone, because there's no gigantic tangible benefit to getting the first 2 Dragons. Instead, it's, look, get the early game lead, kill turrets with it, use that gold lead to get yourself ahead. The Dragons can't be your only win condition.
Yeah, and I think a big part of that is that Dragon doesn't give gold anymore. So before you take 1 or 2 Dragons with a very early game oriented composition, and then you already have this big lead over your opponents, and the 3rd Dragon is pretty much uncontestable at that point, even if they have a team fight comp. Now, gold pretty much stays even, and then you have 2 Dragons up, and that Dragon is always contestable, and the teamfight comp will usually come out on top at those points in the game.
Well, we'll see if teams adjust around those global objectives, and here's hoping for some more variety today. It's definitely exciting. With only 1 day under our belt, we already have a plethora of tweet-worthy moments. Here are just a few that you called out with the hashtag LCS Big Plays. Our first features a Wombo combo from CLG versus Team 8. @PookTechMai says, Link ult followed by Jarvan ult followed by Nars ult. And that was the biggest of LCS Big Plays. Let's take a look.
Q gets canceled, in goes Link. Dodo's about to die, but maybe Lulu's something to say about this one. Here comes the fight, no double lift, but CLG's gonna win a 4v5.
Link goes right into the middle. Frozen Tomb on himself still does all the damage he needs in an AoE on everybody. And then Jarvan Cataclysm goes up. There's a wall there anyway. Benny comes in for the full team Gnar ultimate.
That was the Narvan combo we were talking about. That's so strong right now in the prioritization of CLG. Even 4v5, if you execute that combo, works out really well.
Yeah, that type of comp's going to team fight real strong. Tristana was icing on the cake, but those 4, they're contested for a reason. They synergize so darn well. Team fights are scary.
Well, our next comes from the mid lane, from TSM versus Cloud9. @KOMan says, first blood of the NALCS Spring Split goes to Bjergsen. Here's your number 2.
Q gets canceled, in goes Link. Dodo's about to die, but maybe Lulu's something to say about this one. Here comes the fight, no double lift, but CLG's gonna win a 4v5.
Link goes right into the middle. Frozen Tomb on himself still does all the damage he needs in an AoE on everybody, and then Jarvan Cataclysm goes up. There's a wall there anyway. Benny comes in for the full Team Gnar ultimate.
You're so good, he's 4 champions.
Yeah, exactly. Well, apparently we
That
pulled the
clip
wrong.
was so
We pulled the
good,
wrong clip. It
we
was
had
so
to
good.
see it again.
Filled 2 slots. Unfortunately, we aren't going to be able to see that Ari play then, but we all remember it and know it was fantastic. And that means we'll move on to our favorite highlight, which was from Dignitas versus Coast. At Shane Reyes writes, that Aurelia 4-man teleport stop. What's that about a language barrier? Hashtag stop the ports. Let's roll that big play.
They have all the time in the world here to trade for Baron.
I mean, you don't trade this because your Nexus will die.
Right now, we can just end it.
And okay?
No. Only if they Baron. Oh, they're Baroning?
They're Baroning. I'm a zero. You stop me right here. I stop. Okay, and then cancel TP.
Transcendent blade through the entire team. That's going to put the nail in the coffin.
Gatsu.
Nice. Good job.
And then.
Dignitas is going to take down the Nexus to win their first game of the North American Spring Split.
I mean, it was such a ridiculous ending. The only thing you'd have to worry about, like as a Dignitas player, is after the game, those guys are like, yeah, this is going to be a great season. We played great. It's like, you guys were losing that entire game, but at least they came together. And sometimes that can be a positive thing because now their mentality is positive. They're going to be thinking positive coming into the next game. Mm-hmm. Maybe that play saves their early part of their season.
Yeah, if you can't beat them, end the game. And those blades transcended language barriers there.
Wow. I mean, also, keep in mind, they're so happy because Baron's on their side now. How can you stop Dignitas when Baron's working for you? And unfortunately, it's the same old Coast mantra. Up until they lose the game, they're winning.
Yeah. You come up with that yourself?
No, that's Scar. That's Copyright Free 2015. I made it up.
Credit the guy. Come on. Well, keep calling out those huge moments in today's games by tweeting at LOL Esports and use the hashtag LCS Big Plays. And if you want to contribute to Primetime League, tweet your favorites to @ThePenta. Then tune in to catch the top plays from around the world on PTL Wednesday at 3 p.m. Pacific. While you're feeling interactive, though, please visit lolesports.com for VODs of games you may have missed, spoiler-free. And hit up the tickets link to reserve your spot in our studio audience and check out the pros in person. Also, don't miss your opportunity to wreck your friends' faces at LCS Fantasy. Make every CS count as you crush your way to the top of your LCS Fantasy League, embarrass your frenemies, and talk some serious smack along the way. The guy I'm facing this week, well, he's feeling pretty humiliated right now, Tranmobile. How about you guys? How are you guys doing this week?
Apparently, I'm beating Freak.
Yeah, I'm actually listening to both of you guys at the same time in different leagues. Also, Imagine Dragons beating me too. So,
how much smack were you talking on PTL?
A lot. Don't worry. I've got a lot of potential in my lineup.
First week of the season. Can't count them out just yet.
Don't worry.
There's still a lot of room for growth. And if you kind of coach your team into order, then maybe you got it.
If they listened to me during picks and bans, we would have won every game.
Yeah, if only. All right. Well, now before we kick over to the caster desk for game 1, we want to throw out a question to our audience on Twitter. We want to know, how do you LCS? So share your photos of how you're enjoying the action here in LA by tweeting at LOL Esports and use the hashtag LCS. We'll feature a few of your responses a bit later. Now, to set the stage for our first game of the day, let's send it over to the guys at the caster desk.